Hello, my name is Elise Kodorobe, and today we're going to do a quick video on a sheep kidney dissection as well as the fetal pig dissection with a specific focus on the the anatomy of the urinary system. Alright, so without further ado, we'll jump right into it. So, if you can just pan over here for a second. This is an exterior view of the sheep's kidney. As you can see, for some reason the folks that prepared it did cut the vessels that normally feed to the kidney and out of the kidney a little bit short. For the sheep's kidney, the only thing we really need to do is just make an incision. It might end up being several incisions, to be honest, but we will make do. Okay. Almost there. Gonna keep going. Alrighty there then. A little more. Alright, and the moment of truth. Perfect. So, over here we have a picture of the inside or a cross section of the sheep's kidney. It's a little hard to kind of identify a lot of the structures, but I'm going to do my best. So this small section right here is the, well, technically, here, let me cut this. We'll start from the outside in. The layer of tissue surrounding the actual kidney is called, or better recognized as, the renal cortex. Much like your cerebral cortex encapsulates everything else in your brain, the section of a portion of your brain, this encapsulates the rest of the stuff in the kidney. You can't really see it too well, but there's a bunch of little pyramid-shaped triangles. Like there's a pretty good cross-section of one right here. And that's what we, in the industry, call the renal medulla, at the very top of which are the glomeruli, and those drain the blood of all the filtrates that we need to cycle out. The space in between the renal medulla is where you can find the renal columns. The section that all the filtrate empties out into is recognized as the, here, one second. Sorry. Okay, so the section, you can't really see, when it comes to the circulation portion of the kidney, you can't really see it too well because whoever prepared this kidney cut them really, really short, but normally that they would come in through this section right here, so both the renal artery and the renal vein. Beyond that, we also have the major calyx and the minor calyx, and those are just the regions, the space right below that pyramid-shaped structure called the medulla. And that ultimately covers pretty much all of them. You don't have to pause, I don't think. Do I have to pause? Okay. Okay. So I'll just take a picture here real fast, and then we'll move on to the fetal pig. Brilliant. All right. Move that off to the side. And we move on to bigger and better things. Alrighty there then. Alright, we come back to our fetal pig, who has already been dissected or had regions of him or her dissected multiple times. Today we're going to go not in the thoracic cavity, which is basically at this point just that, a cavity with very little left in it. I think we've got a lung and lungs in there, and that's about it. Whew, okay, so what we're going to do, I'll talk you folks through it really fast because I can't talk and cut at the same time. We're going to go into the abdomen and essentially reach a region called the retroperitoneal, or the peritoneal membrane. In order to do that, I'm going to need to make 2 main incisions. Screw it, I'll just make it right now. So I'll cut around the umbilicus here. I'm seeing rows of tiny nipples, so my suspicion is that this piglet, this fetal pig, is in fact a female. Okay, a little more. Okay, and we're also going to make another incision right around here. I'm trying to make careful cuts so as to not damage whatever structures lie beneath. Alright. That's just about deep enough. I think what I'll end up doing is cut, stop and talk a little bit, cut, stop and talk a little bit. And in that manner, I'll have a chance to avoid accidentally cutting something I shouldn't have or anything like that. Okay. Okay. There's a blood vessel connecting to the umbilical region. Cutting through what I think might be some ribs, pork ribs. Okay. Right now I'm basically cutting through the membrane, right below the diaphragm, or through the diaphragm itself as well. It's really hard to gauge landmarks, but overall, this is where we want to end up. There it is. That's fine. No, thank you. Alright, so what are we looking at right here? Ultimately, we're looking at the small and large intestines. Whatever this is, I'm not sure what that is. What is this? The bladder, perhaps? No, it's way too to the front. Okay, interesting. Anyway, we're going to have to remove the liver here, the small intestines as well as the large intestines. Everything does tend to be anchored down by regions of connective tissue as well as blood vessels. Again, I am not experienced in the field of fetal dissection. There we go. That's the liver. Next, we're going to cut through everything else. I think this might be the stomach, to be honest. It seems like it's in right about the right region. Okay. I think we're going to, yeah, we're going to have to remove the stomach as well. Christ. The things I will do for the nursing degree. That's fine. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, gonna keep going here. Okay, oh nice, I think I finally found our goal. Just have to cut what's left of this connective tissue holding down what's left of the thing here. Alright, so we can actually see the kidneys here on the other side of this here. Actually, let me see if I can cut a little more of this off. I was like, I don't know. Let me see if I can. We shall resort to the skizzers. So honestly, we can actually probably take our first picture here in a second. I feel like we've removed enough of the tissue to actually visualize. There's a good chunk of liver left here. I'm going to see if I can just kind of separate it with my fingers. That smell is something else, man. Let me tell you. Excellent. All right. This will serve my purpose. The first image requires a view of the kidneys behind the peritoneal membrane. As you can see, I'm going to grab my first picture here. You can actually see both the kidneys, the right kidney and the left kidney in there. Perfect. The next step is going to be to remove. Okay. Sorry, my cameraman here wants to. Okay. Next, I'm going to remove the membrane. Do we have a napkin or something? No, I need to something dry to soak up all these juices settling at the bottom. tissue to soak up some of the juices that have accumulated at the bottom. They were kind of getting in the way, so. I'm not entirely certain if, like, this is the bladder, the urinary bladder.
Looks like it.
Looks like
the ureters running through the side.
How did I accidentally step on them? Alright, that's fine. That's fine.
Looks like an inverted penis.
Right. No, I think this is a female pig. It crossed my mind, but I think this might be a female, honey. Alright, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this here little device. And essentially expose the kidneys. If I do end up severing anything accidentally, I'm just going to do my best to label where it was or where it would have connected. Because, man, everything's the same color here. It's so hard to identify. Alright. I think this was the bladder. Because, like, okay, look, the way it is if you're looking at the position of the animal, the ureters are actually still intact. See? Here and here. So, like, if the pig was standing on all fours, like, this would have been where the pee came out. It would be underneath the pig, you know? I'm just going to do my best here. Almost there. Alright, so we can actually see the kidney shape here start to become exposed. Okay, alright. Alright, so we have exposed the kidneys here. What I'm going to try to do is remove a little bit more of this tissue in the center so as to see if we can expose some of the vessels, see some of the vessels that feed to and away from the kidneys. Okay, I'm going to pull away just lightly. Okay. So it looks like the blood vessels, you can actually see, I'm going to pull a little bit more of this membrane off. You can see the ureters, which is this line here, going away from the kidney. It's in the anatomically correct position of where a textbook example would be. So this one right here is the ureter. These smaller vessels can be easily confused with connective tissue, but they're actually the blood vessels that feed to and from the kidney. Can I? Okay. So there is some connective tissue here, but I'm afraid if I'll remove it, I'll be ripping like blood vessels. So, okay, there we are. So the second image without the membrane, we're going to have right here. Let me grab my date. Okay. We've got our second image there. Next, we're also going to take another picture, but this time with a urinary bladder. I can do that like so. the way they have it done is they actually have it extended forth like so. So we have the bladder. Let me see if I can just use this. Alright, I'm going to take another quick picture of what I need here. Okay. And last but not least, after seeing all the structures here, such as all of the ureters, there's various other structures such as the larger blood vessels aligning in the midline with the pig's anatomy, specifically the ascending aorta and any other vessel like your inferior vena cava. This would all be in this region right here. The renal artery and the renal veins feed to and from those larger vessels, so that's important to note. The ureters, those go to the bladder, and from the bladder, that's where we find the urethra. We're going to scoot our little piglet over here. The last part of our dissection is going to be to dissect the actual fetal pig's kidney itself. We're basically going to do exactly what we did with the sheep kidney. Oh my god, things are coming out of it. It looks like a bunch of gooey liquid is coming out of my kidney. I hope that's not something important, of course. Okay, a thing we should note is that man, there we go. Perfect. That actually is not too bad. I thought it would be really, really bad, but this is not that bad. You'll note that this kidney, this view, you can still identify a lot of the other things, like where the blood vessel would connect, but it's very, very small. A lot of the other structures look like they're developing, but you can't really identify as easily. So you can still see like the freaking, the minor and major calyx. The small pyramid-like structures, they're a little bit hard to identify, but they're still there. The renal pelvis is always an easy one, and the cortex, as always, is still there. And this ultimately concludes our dissection. Thank you.